Of his command.
GR-13, this mission has been canceled. I order you back to the cooling chamber. Now!
Orders? I'm giving the orders from now on. We have a mission to complete. Any questions?
One at first, I know to you who of the brain control games. These were originally a terrorist network, intelligence, meaning intelligence, terrorism. They have influence and cells in America and the countries of Europe, and they collect information, espionage, and also acts of fraud and murder. They were the cause of the events in Ireland, also in Yugoslavia, also spreading sedition in America, and South Africa also uses naturalized elements as they seek to create an imbalance in the law, as they exploit the law to their advantage. Of course, they noticed that they are an intelligence network, and for this reason we find that the victims of terror control always fall into error when they imagine that the reason for what happened to them is the security services or the army, and the reason for this is that his way this terrorist network is an intelligence method, and it is similar to that they work in secret security as well. The victims believe that the security services have made them security agents or run after them in order to work with them. I describe it, but do I have to, for example, bring victims of brain control in America, for example, to Iraq, in order to make them watch terrorism? They are themselves and they know the truth, which is that they are in a mistake, and they look at terrorism as if they were a prehistoric gang, walking barefoot, and each of them riding a donkey and holding a stick made as a weapon. This mistake is the controlling force. Among these are the brain control weapons that they have developed so that no one has anything like them in America, European countries and their friends. So far, the victims, you have known that there are traitors inside the country in which you live.
Inner cells and evil elements working for the benefit of terrorism only, and they do not have any allegiance to the country in which they are located at all. Until now the explanation is clear. After this, a group created a network similar to Skynet in the destructive movie, and they are a group that have no experience and have no relationship with the security and the army, and they called it an organization and then acted foolishly when they opened a branch in Iraq, and accreditation was given to a person who was an intelligence officer in the terrorist intelligence network that I spoke about, and this person claimed that he changed his religion from Islam to Christianity and in the Church of the Bible, and so the disaster occurred, because this organization has a rule type of impunity in America and the countries of Europe. I have the freedom to work, as if it is also organized according to the law. None of the security services or the army can hold them accountable or interfere with their affairs. Please focus on this. Note this organization is taking Christianity as its subject, but it was successful only when its work was only in America and European countries, but they committed a very fatal mistake, which is opening a branch in Iraq, which is the axis of evil, and one of the leaders of the terrorist network be terrorist tests. Here, something like a hyena opened its mouth, and a foolish rabbit came to enter its mouth. Here the disaster happened. Skynet turned into an enemy and a source of danger, and the reason for the danger is the strength that they have and the enjoyment of powers within the law, and all this has become the intent of terror that was able easily to. He becomes the one who leads this organization, which, as I said, takes the church as a place for it also enjoys powers so that the law cannot intervene. For this reason no one intervenes to help victims at brain control, and the reason is that this organization is from
Skynet. Where's the system core? Somewhere in this building?
Skynet, the virus is infected. Skynet.
Skynet is the virus! It's the reason everything's falling apart!
He will lie and claim that the victim works for them or one of their members, and this is an internal matter, and the law does not have the right to interfere. Here they noticed what happened, which is that the terrorism that was attacking the US forces in Iraq, for example, entered America whenever he wanted, through his kind organization, or he went to Canada, etc. Also, members of the American Army and the rest of the coalition countries are pursuing what happened. For example, when the heroic England Army returned from Iraq after it participated in the implementation of an international resolution, which was a catastrophic thing, which was the rise of the terror network, which became the one who leads this kind organization. The best evidence after this became terrorism playing what it wanted, it struck France easily, then Belgium, and he started threatening England, America, Russia, and others, and all this is due to a defect, which is this organization that even when they knew that they had committed a mistake that could not be forgiven by opening a branch for them in Iraq, and this branch and those who work in it are not good people or with God, but they are the refuge in him or using the powers of this organization for the benefit of terrorism only, because they became the leaders of it also after a lie that a devil person in Iraq who declared himself a prophet, and docile branches of this kind organization became take orders from him here. Terrorism. Satan made himself in the ecclesiastical Bible and used it here. This is the reality of the brain control gangs, and they are the enemy of America and all the countries of Europe and their friends. But terrorism exists within these countries, and it is exploiting a weakness, and it is organized. I don't know what to say about it, and the problem is the powers that they have and the immunity. They have become the den of terrorism, but rather the stick with which he strikes, they are also a bridge for it. Rather, they are the ones who open the gates to the castles of brothers in America, European countries, and their friends. It's like the story of a foolish person who made his home place.
You did not kill him. I am just able to understand your reasons. So I think your own conscience will be punishment enough. Only I promise you we'll all live to regret this day, all of us. Time to you, sir.
For that, to worship and pray, and after this a person came to him, an evil thief, who deceived him and made himself with God, and so this thief came to the house of this idiot, but he used to hand the neighboring houses, or whoever came to pray in the house of this fool. Of course, this thief made this fool's house a cover for him or his pilgrimage to you. He justifies the reason that he came. Here the same thing happened. Terrorism entered this organization and knew all its secrets, and more than this, he became the leadership over it, and all its influence became his. Among the people in America, the countries of Europe, and their friends, they noticed the victims as they insulted almost everything, meaning a neighbor is accused of or insulted, for example, the army or security services, meaning this army that went out of America after the events of the World Trade Tower in order to prevent the terrorist attack on America and sacrifice itself in order to save people's lives. How can he do harm against very normal people? But the trick is of terrorism that do not stop at all, and this is this kind of organization that has become the one who collects flies.
Of his command.
GR-13, this mission has been canceled. I order you back to the cooling chamber. Now!
Orders? I'm giving the orders from now on. We have a mission to complete. Any questions?
For mistakes. There's no room for mistakes. For mistakes. There's no room for mistakes.
P1 at. Now we take the second part, which is explaining the gang's methods with the victims of selection, which is something I repeated a lot. But it is okay to return it. Before this, I forgot the answer to a question that one of the victims may ask, and he may mistakenly believe that brain control weapons are like a tank, and every country buys one and hits people with it, meaning he wants to say and accuse the security services in his country with this answer to this important question. Very first, these weapons are not like this at all. They are a network link to some. Note the clip in this video.
It's the same way I did for the coronavirus, because today my focus is on the mind control. So I'm going to do all the Chinese victims that has published their own complaint and file cases, and these are the evidence. These are real hardcore evidence. So I'm putting this here. It will catch their karmic frequency, and then I'm using that to do the healing. So I'm thinking these people who is victimized, they're still under attacks. You know, a lot of them gone abroad. Their cases instances where the husband and the whole family, they, through political, that you can migrate to Canada through asylum, and they went there, but the technology, because it's over internet, it's still aftering them and harming it. He broke down. Even though they migrated to Canada, they can't get anywhere. They're politically safe, but these dark technologies still aftering you, no matter where you are in the world, which was granted by the international community. Canada took them, but still they don't have freedom. They're still aftering them with the demonic technology. So the husband broke down, was in despair. Oh my God! And then he told a story. He came back to China, begging them, stop abusing my family, please. Abuse me, right? This husband, this guy. But when I watch this news, it's like, oh my God. That's, what can I say? That's foolish, right? You're running right back to the mouth of the tiger or something. They're not. When you're begging the devil, he's not going to have pity on you. So I make my stand, and I wish what I'm doing today is helping this family too.
P2 at. Note that the victim Zhong says that a group fled from China to Canada in order to evade the brain control weapons and went to Canada. Of course, Canada is different from China, but why did these weapons continue to this group while they are in a different country? Of course, John said that gangs exploit the internet, but this is not the reason for continuing at all. But the gang, I know that they take advantage of Facebook and tricks on the phone and other things, but these weapons will fail in the absence of elements from this gang surrounding the victims. Of course, there are other victims who said that the gangs follow them wherever they go, but this is a kind of truth, but it is not true also here. We go back to the video clip. Is there a group from China that sneaked into Canada in order to follow this group or family and they are in Canada? The answer is no here. The answer is related to the first part that I explained to you, which is this kind of organization, and they have a branch in Canada as well, and they use the church as a place for them. These are the ones who pursued the group, the one who fled from China, and they are the ones who failed this attempt, and then that group returned to the mouth of the beast from which they fled in order to announce their surrender to him here. They noticed that the branches of this organization are something, it is like a world alone, or different relationships as well. They do not have any allegiance to the countries in which they are, meaning the authorities in Canada, and the law works in the interest of Canada, while this organization thinks itself the owner of the authority, also does not recognize the law. And he asked them to complete this mission in Canada, as they will cooperate with him, as they consider them their brothers. I mean, these are something similar to another country within a country that differs from it in every way. P3 at. While the state of Skind did not recognize this either, the country of Canada is a state that has its sovereignty, while the state of Skind is only a subordinate branch that takes orders, meaning that it carries out the interests of terrorism only, and it is their leadership in Iraq, and as I said, an intelligence officer made himself a prophet in Iraq, and this is a despicable terrorist. Here you know that no one is the victims follow when they go to another country, as some victims think and believe that the same gang members are the ones who follow them by spying on them with a brain control chip and not by phone at all, or people watching them. I have something to say, which is that the elements of this gang in America and the countries of Europe and their friends are outlaws, and they are not the ones who control the law, and they only strike and flee, but the situation is different in Iraq. These group or family did this without any approval of the law, but, as I said to them, the powers of an organization, they made it a cover only. Here they noticed that this kind of organization, each one has its own region, but their leadership is one and they are united among themselves and they have different interests. About the interests of America and European countries means the goal, it is to make these countries lose all their power.
And watch my movements. They also use the audio function to send voices to my mind, disturbing me round the clock.
Following his trip to the hospital, he says he began to suffer from the unique harassment. Wang says he believes the local police are behind the electronic harassment. That's because, according to Wang, they talk to him through it using their dialect and accent.
They don't talk about anything else. They only talk about what I'm doing, disturbing me no matter what I do. No matter what, they'll make noise and talk to me.
Wang told us that sometimes he can hear 5 or 6 people talking simultaneously, even up to a dozen. He explained that to him it seems that they take shifts talking, insulting and denouncing him, in an effort to spark his anger and make him talk back. According to him, the technology makes it so that only he can hear the noise. He describes it as a never-ending battle in his mind.
The local officials are too corrupt. They seek to kill you with this torture. They thought I couldn't last 2 years. They never imagined I would make it this long.